We first meet him at a medical commission where he sits in his wheelchair, unable to speak due to cerebral palsy, but this isn't where his story begins. Rewind to 1987. Young Mateusz sits with a doctor, attempting a simple task, placing figurines into a box with matching notches. The doctor's verdict is quick and harsh: mental retardation. But Mateusz's mother, she fiercely disagrees, convinced her son understands everything perfectly. The doctor's cruel comparison, that even dogs wag their tails at food bowls, only strengthens her resolve when he suggests institutionalization. At home, she becomes his biggest champion. While her other children look on skeptically, she helps Mateusz practice walking. He scoots across the floor on his back, finding moments of joy when his father plays with him. Hope flickers when they hire a massage therapist, but it dims just as quickly. Even the specialist gives up, refusing payment for his final visit. One day, during a walk, frustration overwhelms both mother and son. Mateusz desperately tries to communicate something, anything, while his mother struggles to understand. But everything changes thanks to a simple moment with his father. Teaching Mateusz to bang his fist on the table like a real man sparks something in the boy. From that moment on, he silently vows to learn everything he possibly can. We watch as he determinedly crawls to his mother, who despite her daughter's protests continues working with him, never giving up hope. Mateusz finds his own way to understand the world from his window perch. Day after day, he watches the neighbors' lives unfold across the street, creating his own silent connection to the world beyond his walls. Excitement ripples through the family when a package arrives from their German uncle. Among the usual gifts lies something magical. A coconut, mysterious and fuzzy. Everyone gathers around as their father tackles opening it with whatever tools he can find. For Mateusz, it becomes more than just a fruit, it's a lesson in never giving up. Life's little moments become his classroom. He observes his mother's friends trying on dresses and finds unexpected joy in a TV show about space rockets. When his sister Matilda switches off his program, claiming he doesn't understand, his mother notices his agitation and restores his window to the stars, recognizing the spark of understanding in her son's eyes. In a heartbreaking moment of failed communication, Mateusz tries desperately to help Matilda find her missing hairpin. His moans and crawling toward the couch aren't random. He spotted it underneath, but no one understands his urgent message. 1989 brings precious father-son moments. Through their window, his father shares the mysteries of the night sky, creating memories that leave Mateusz wondering about his father's life beyond their home. With incredible ingenuity, his father crafts him a new wheelchair from spare parts, a soup bed frame and trolley wheels becoming a chariot of freedom. But celebration turns to tragedy during Poland's first democratic elections. His father, out to supposedly buy a door lock, returns home intoxicated with the nation's newfound freedom. In a cruel twist of fate, as fireworks paint the sky with Poland's liberation, Mateusz watches helplessly as his father falls from their balcony. All that remains are his father's last words of wisdom: never give up. By 1998, Mateusz has grown into a young man, still finding solace in stargazing from his windowsill. His quiet observations include Anka, the girl next door whose mother's hospitality brings a parade of nightly visitors. Meanwhile, his sister Matilda's search for love fills their apartment with potential suitors who can't hide their discomfort around Mateusz. They wheel him to another room, but even closed doors can't muffle the sounds of their intimate moments. Everything changes when his older brother takes him for a fateful outing, leaving his wheelchair beside a bench where Anka sits. Through determined movements, Mateusz catches her attention, sparking an unexpected friendship. Their bond grows from shared moments on that bench to adventures beyond, Anka pushing him in a wheelchair her father once built, exploring the zoo together. But near the funhouse mirrors, Mateusz notices something troubling, dark bruises marking Anka's thighs. From his window perch, he becomes her silent guardian. When he witnesses her defending her mother from an aggressive suitor, Mateusz takes action, hurling a flower at the man. Later, spotting the same man cycling past, he throws dirt, prompting a confrontation. The man's taunts toward Mateusz attract the attention of a local policeman, an old friend of his late father. The situation escalates when the aggressive suitor turns on the officer, leading to his arrest. Then comes the heartbreaking moment. Through his window, Mateusz watches Anka and her mother packing their lives away. His friend races across the yard one last time, explaining through his door that they're fleeing to her grandmother's house, her mother's life upended by her boyfriend's arrest. The year 2000 brings a family reunion when Mateusz's sailor brother returns home on leave. Around the dinner table, with Matilda's new husband present, the celebration quickly turns somber. The elephant in the room can't be ignored. What will happen to Mateusz after their mother is gone? Matilda makes her position clear. She's not prepared to become her brother's caretaker. Life continues its familiar rhythm, with Mateusz at his faithful post by the window until everything changes in an instant. While trying to help him into his wheelchair, his mother falls. a simple moment that becomes the dividing line between his old life and what comes next. His world shrinks to the confines of a special medical boarding house, where his sister and her husband leave him. The halls are filled with others like him, each carrying their own stories of disability. Fellow residents gather to welcome him, but Mateusz feels like a stranger in a strange land, clinging to hope that his mother will return to take him home. Days blur together in the institution, each one reinforcing Mateusz's feeling that he doesn't belong. Then comes the visit that changes everything. His mother, fresh from her own hospital stay, appears at the ward entrance. She hesitates for just a moment, a pause that speaks volumes before spending precious time with her son. As she prepares to leave, her promise to return on Monday hangs in the air like a fragile thread of hope. The crushing realization of abandonment sends Mateusz spiraling into depression. Even the attentive care from the staff can't lift his spirits until an unexpected bright spot appears. A new volunteer whose presence brings a spark of life back to his days, her nurturing nature offering a glimmer of hope in his institutional world. Despite his mother's regular visits, filled with updates about his siblings' lives, Mateusz's heart burns with resentment. His hatred for being abandoned in this place becomes so overwhelming that he violently tumbles from his wheelchair. The institution's response is swift but misguided. They confine him to a padded room, forcing him to wear a boxing helmet to prevent self-injury. When staff discover him biting his lips until they bleed, their solution only adds to his humiliation. Instead of letting him eat normally, they strap him to a dental chair to file his teeth. It's the final indignity that breaks his spirit. In a moment of desperate rebellion, Mateusz seizes an opportunity when the nurse steps away. His father's words echo in his mind. Sometimes, when you can't take it anymore, you have to hit the table with your fist. With grim determination, he wheels himself to the stairs and lets gravity take over. The world fades to black as he tumbles down, but even this desperate bid for freedom fails, landing him in the hospital instead. 2005 brings an unexpected change. When Magda, a new volunteer, arrives at the ward, she's there for a trial run to see if she can handle working with patients like Mateusz. While watching her, Mateusz realizes that his initial fascination with female anatomy pales in comparison to something far more meaningful, genuine human connection. Magda is different from the others. She notices his reactions, sees the spark of understanding in his eyes. One day, she transforms the sterile ward with music, dancing to chase away her own dark thoughts. When a nurse discovers their moment of joy, Magda boldly declares what others have missed. Mateusz understands everything. The skeptical nurse dismisses her claim, but fate offers unexpected proof. During his next bath, Mateusz's clear reaction to an orderly's magazine catches Magda's attention, planting a seed of possibility that will change everything. On his 25th birthday, the day starts hopefully with his mother bringing cake and Magda asking permission to take him beyond the institution's walls. But it's what happens later in the dark of night that changes everything. Magda sneaks into the ward with a magazine, and misreading his interest creates an intimate moment that leaves Mateusz vulnerable and confused. The Christmas dinner that follows becomes a theater of cruelty. Magda parades Mateusz in front of her family at an upscale restaurant, using him as a prop in her rebellion against her father and stepmother. She introduces him alongside her fiancé, performing affection through pointed kisses while guests squirm and her father seethes. When she offers Mateusz a drink, it becomes clear he's just another weapon in her war against her father, who bitterly recalls last year's homeless guest. The realization hits Mateusz like a physical blow. His collapse sends glasses crashing to the floor, a fitting end to this charade of celebration. Back at the institution, the final twist of the knife comes when an orderly casually mentions Magda's departure, her volunteering complete, leaving Mateusz to face his used and discarded reality alone. In his solitude, Mateusz tries to smile through his music, fighting back tears. His mother's next visit, filled with family updates about his swimming brother and his sister's abandonment, becomes the breaking point. His tears flow freely, though his mother misinterprets their source, trying her best to comfort a pain she doesn't understand. But spring 2008 brings an unexpected renaissance. During an outdoor theater performance at the nursing home, Mateusz spots Mrs. Yola, a specialist in teaching communication to the disabled. During a therapeutic massage, he makes every effort to catch her attention, and finally, someone truly sees him. Mrs. Jola develops a personalized communication system using signs and blinks, and Mateusz's world begins to expand. His rapid progress stuns the medical staff who had written him off as mentally incapacitated, forcing them to confront their own prejudices and assumptions. Everything changes when Mrs. Yola arranges a meeting that will shatter years of silence. With his mother and sister present, Mateusz communicates his first complete phrase using a special table: "I am not a vegetable." The transformation is swift and profound. A new medical commission assessment leads to proper dental care, replacing his damaged teeth. His institutional life is revolutionized. He receives a private room customized to his needs and a motorized wheelchair that finally gives him independence. By 2010, his story catches the attention of Ava, a journalist eager to share his journey with the world. Technology becomes his window to endless possibilities. Through computers and internet access, Mateusz discovers new ways to connect with the world. A touching homecoming follows, where his sister introduces him to his nephews. In an especially poignant moment, Mateusz and his nephew share stargazing time, echoing the precious moments he once shared with his father. But progress brings its own challenges. His mother learns that management, having read Ava's article, wants to transfer him, ironically, because he's too mentally capable for their facility. The prospect of leaving the place that has become his home, despite its flaws, fills Mateusz with dread. The story comes full circle at another medical commission, but this time Mateusz has a choice. Initially, he plays the role they expect, the incapable patient. But at the last moment, something shifts. He slips from his chair, crawls back into the room, and in an act of extraordinary will, stands up. Though his body fights him every inch of the way, he makes his way to the commission's table. The final scenes unfold like poetry, Mrs. Jola wheeling him through the corridors of the institution that has been both his prison and his home. In his room, we see him at his telescope, master of his own motorized chair, and finally, his own destiny. The film closes with Mateusz turning to face the camera, his direct gaze challenging viewers to see him, truly see him, for who he has always been.